Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for your patience. I'm finally back, and let's get into your February 2023 horoscopes. So, you can watch this horoscope for your ascendant, sun, or moon sign. I would recommend that you watch all three, and February is going to be a pretty heavy month. And the reason for that is we will have Saturn being at 29 degrees, which is the anaretic degree. This is a critical degree. And we're also going to have Pluto at 29 degrees, and there's going to be a bit of overlap as well. So this will be a very intense month for everyone on a personal level, but even on a global level as well. There's going to be lots of huge headlines, especially towards the end of February. So I'm going to start off with Aries, and I'm going to go all the way through to Pisces. Normally, I would do a bit of a preamble with the general energies, but this month I'm going to try something a little bit different and just jump straight into the horoscopes. Of course, if you have any feedback, please let me know. And also, I just want to make a note that if you are a cardinal sign, so Aries, Cancer, Libra, or Capricorn, or if you are a fixed sign, so Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, and Scorpio, you guys are going to be feeling this more strongly because Pluto will be either squaring, conjuncting, or opposing cardinal signs, and Saturn will be doing the same to the fixed signs. And if that's a little bit too advanced for you, don't worry, I am going to go through everything. So let's start off with Aries, Sun, Moon, and Risings. Pluto will be squaring you from the 10th house. So Pluto will be in Capricorn in the 10th house, and essentially February will be a month where you are really wanting to redefine your professional status and your public status. And there may even be some kind of let's say crisis, and this can be an internal crisis. It doesn't need to be something happening on a physical level, but it's sort of like maybe an existential crisis when it comes to your life purpose, what you want to do with your career, how you want to be showing up in the world, and how you really want to be representing yourself. So this could be a time where you are really thinking long and hard about your future, as well as your responsibilities. And I don't even just mean with work. This could be parental responsibilities. This could be how you see the rest of your life playing out and how you want to be defining yourself. So essentially, with Pluto squaring you, there may be some kind of epiphany that comes through when, with respect to the responsibilities that you have or even the burdens that you carry, and you may feel like you just want to walk away from this, or you just want to really transform your life and transform how you are showing up in the world and how people are perceiving you. So some of you may be having some kind of big breakthrough when it comes to your work life. So you may actually be walking away from a job that you have been involved in for a very long time. You could be transitioning into a new industry or a new way of showing up professionally. And what I mean by that is maybe you are retiring, maybe you are stepping back from work to take on being a parent or caring for another person, because this is activating the 4th and 10th house axes. Some of you may be moving into self-employment or becoming an entrepreneur. And on a different level, this can actually impact your relationship status. And that is because this is representative of how people perceive you in a very definitive way. So the 10th house is not just about work. It's, whether you're employed or unemployed, married or not married, a parent or not a parent. So these huge life changes, or let's say life goals, can be really coming through at this time, and maybe you're redefining those, or people are becoming aware of parts of your life that you have kept hidden or kept secret. So that's Pluto in Capricorn in your 10th house, squaring you as an Aries, Sun, Moon, or Rising. by the way, the Aries who will feel this the most strongly would be those in the last decan, so the third decan of Aries. So that would be the last 10 degrees, but especially if you're a 28 or 29 degree Aries sun, moon, or rising. Now, with Saturn being in Aquarius in your 11th house, and this is sextiling you, first of all, Saturn will be going from 25 degrees to 29 degrees throughout the month of February. So again, Aries who are in the last decan or the third decan, and again, this would be, 20 degrees to 29 degrees, especially 25 to 29 degrees. You guys are going to be feeling this the most. Saturn is really going to be making you focus on your friendships and your wider network, as well as your long-term goals and dreams. So there could be some kind of falling out that takes place within a friendship, or it could be you that is walking away from certain friendships. And the 11th house is also connected to communities as well. So you could get to a point in February or especially towards the end of the month, or maybe even in early March, where you are realizing who you want to be surrounding yourself with, and whether these people are adding something to your life or whether it's draining you. And there could be a long-term goal or project that you are on the tail end of finishing, and February could be the month where you are putting in all of your energy and all of your effort into bringing this through to completion or fruition. And because Saturn represents blockages and limitations and delays, don't be surprised if there is one last hurdle or test that you have to go through in order to complete this long-term goal or dream of yours. It could even just be like a project that you were working on. Or this could, for some of you, be to do with a PhD or some sort of higher level of education. And the 11th house is connected to passive income and residual forms of income. So if there is a, let's say, stream of residual income or passive income that you are trying to procure, there could be a series of tests or hurdles in order to secure that, or there could just be like one big hurdle to overcome. Ultimately, though, Saturn is sextiling you, so this is a very positive aspect. Okay, so some help or support could be coming to you from your wider network, from friendships, from a community that you are part of. And essentially you are closing out some really, really big chapters when it comes to a long-term goal or dream that you have for your future, as well as recognition for some sort of career milestone or something that is like a major, major achievement. With Pluto in your 10th house, it doesn't even need to be connected to career. It could just be that you have really transformed your life, and people are recognizing this in you. So again, I just want to stress that the second half of February, especially even the last few days, this is where things will be the most intense for you, but you can have some amazing breakthroughs. Now, lastly, in February, I just want to quickly touch on the full moon and the new moon. So on the 5th of February, there'll be a full moon in Leo, and this will be taking place in your 5th house. Full moons are all about the completion of a cycle, or something coming to fruition. And so with the 5th house, which is trining you, it could be that you are completing a creative project. There could be some kind of breakthrough with respect to children, whether these are your own children or nieces or nephews, or a child that is important in your life. They could just be having some kind of there could be a personal development in their own life, even if it doesn't necessarily impact you. So maybe they are overcoming some sort of personal difficulty or challenge, or maybe they are celebrating something special. Children aside, the fifth house is connected to sex, romance, and dating. So for some of you, you could be taking your relationship with a person to the next level, especially if this is something casual and you wanted to, let's say, graduate to something more exclusive or more serious. And the fifth house is also connected to passions, hobbies, and confidence. So there could be some sort of realization or epiphany that you have, which allows you to access more confidence and feel more proud of who you are. And lastly, on the 20th of February, there will be a new moon in Pisces, and this will be taking place in your 12th house. So this can indicate the birth of a new creative idea or inspiration that comes through to you. So the fifth house and the 12th house are both creative houses in astrology. So I really feel that in February, especially, that you guys will be feeling highly creative, very inspired. And on one level, you could be completing some kind of project. On a different level, there could be something new that is starting. And the 12th house is connected to the esoteric, the divine, as well as things like yoga and meditation. So this could be you planting the seeds with respect to one of those things, or just becoming quite interested in one of those areas. Now, Aries, if you want to know how your 2023 is going to be shaping up for you, you can purchase your 2023 yearly horoscope by clicking on the link in the description box below. Now, let's have a look at Taurus. So this is for my Taurus sun, moon, and risings. And this is a huge month for Taurians. And essentially, we've got Pluto trining Taurus in Capricorn from the 9th house. And then we've got Saturn squaring Taurus. So it's going to be intense. And I myself am a Taurus sun. So, I'm in the same boat as you guys. First of all, let's discuss Pluto being in Capricorn and trining you from the 9th house. So the Taurians who will be the most impacted will be those in the last 10 degrees of Taurus. So third decan Taurians. I myself am a 29-degree Taurus. So this is going to be hitting me directly. And anyway, for Taurians, this is such a profound time of just scoping out your vision for the future, figuring out where you want to be going with your life, where you who you want to be associating with. This is a very pivotal point in time where you are assessing your relationships. And that is because Pluto rules over your 7th house, which is connected to these one-on-one relationships and connections. So there could be some really big decisions that are being made with respect to romantic relationships, a marriage, client relationships, business collaborations, as well as friendships as well. And even if this is not about the future of a certain relationship, as in an existing one, this could indicate that you are contemplating what you want to be calling into your life, because the 9th house is all about seeing the bigger picture and really figuring out our dream for the future. And Pluto is a planet which represents death and rebirth. So for many Taurians, this could indicate that your value systems when it comes to relationships and self-worth and give and take and what you bring to the table versus what you're receiving from other people, this is really up for consideration and an enormous transformation. And that is because Pluto will be entering Aquarius next month in March, and this is kickstarting a new 2-decade-long cycle. So really, with Pluto being at 29 degrees Capricorn, we're wrapping up this old chapter. We're looking at relationships that have worked and that haven't worked, and how we can really be doing things differently. Now, relationships aside, the 9th house is connected to education, travel, religion, spirituality, and our belief systems. So us Taurians are really putting to bed belief systems that no longer work for us and that have really been holding us back from, to be really on the nose, taking the bull by the horns and Taurians are quite notorious for resisting change and, sticking with the same thing, job, person, lifestyle until we hit an absolute crisis point. And that is what's happening, Taurus. Okay, whether you like it or not, with Pluto being at 29 degrees trining you, and then with Saturn being at 29 degrees squaring you, all Taurians are going through a hugely transformational period of time. And maybe you have felt like the last few weeks or couple of months, you've really just been pushed to the limit in one or more areas of your life, and you are aware that you are on the precipice of enormous change. And because Uranus is in Taurus, Taurians have been itching for this change, but it's probably been bubbling along at a subconscious level, or it has just been this feeling of an inner state of restlessness, but not knowing when the right moment to strike is. And that is now. Okay, so the next 4 to 6 weeks will be absolutely pivotal for you Taurians, or for us Taurians. Now, with Saturn being in Aquarius in the 10th house and squaring Taurus, this is all about professional status, our reputation, how we're showing up in the world, our life purpose, the legacy that we want to leave behind, as well as the responsibilities and the duties that we are carrying out. So for many Taurians, this is the last chapter. This is the last test, the last hurdle. And, you are at a point where you are very close to stepping through what I want to call a portal into the next chapter of your life. So I would advise you, Taurians, to lighten the load, especially from the second half of February. And let me just check the dates of the 29 degrees anaretic degree. Yeah, this is the 27th of February through till the 7th of March. This is when Saturn will be at 29 degrees, and this is when Taurians are going to feel it the most. I personally will be really lightening the load when it comes to my work schedule. Probably won't even do readings during that period of time, because Saturn squaring Taurus can really lead to feeling quite fatigued or feeling quite drained. And for some of you, it won't necessarily come through as impacting you on a physical level. It could just be that there is an enormous project that you need to carry out during that period of time, or maybe there are responsibilities from a leadership perspective, or that you are helping other people with as well, because the 10th house is activating that parental axis. So if you are a parent, there could be responsibilities that you are needing to carry out with respect to your children. And it doesn't even need to just be your children. This could be helping other family members as well, and really showing up for them and being there for them. So lastly, I want to touch on the full moon and the new moon. So on the 5th of February, there will be a full moon in Leo in your 4th house. And the 4th house is connected to your ancestry and your lineage and your property and living circumstances. So some of you may be looking at relocating. Okay, so you could be closing out a contract, whether this is a rental agreement, or maybe you are buying or selling, or simply just moving house. So maybe someone will be moving in with you, so there could be a shift that is happening there. And it doesn't need to be super duper permanent. Just to give you an example, I'm going to be house sitting for a friend for the whole month of February. So that's how the full moon in Leo is showing up for me. So it could even just be like a 1 month thing that's occurring around the 5th of February, plus or minus a couple of weeks. And this could see you overcoming some kind of obstacle or challenge or disagreement with a family member. There could be a discovery about your ancestry or your lineage. And this could also see you basically making peace with something that's coming up for you with respect to your childhood or your upbringing or family matters. Now, on the 20th of February, there will be a new moon in Pisces, and this will be occurring in your 11th house. So new moons indicate a new beginning or a new chapter starting. So for some of you, this could be joining a new community, forming a new community, maybe starting a social media channel or page. This could see you starting a new long-term project or a large-scale project. This could see you forming a new friendship. And the 11th house is connected to residual forms of income and passive forms of income. So this could actually see you generating a new stream of income. And it doesn't necessarily mean that, you're earning money from the 20th of February or that the dollars are rolling in straight away. It could just be that the seed is planted and that the idea is there. And lastly, the 11th house is connected to long-term planning. What is your long-term future? What are your long-term goals? In fact, the 9th house and the 11th house are both connected to long-term planning and dreams and our vision for the future. So this really is a big month for Taurus when it comes to looking ahead, figuring out what you want. And if there is some kind of long-term dream that you have, actually writing out new moon intentions around the 20th of February could yield really positive results for you. And so Taurus, if you want to know how 2023 is going to play out for you, you can purchase your 2023 yearly horoscopes by clicking on the link in the description box below. And now let's have a look at Geminis. Okay, so Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Risings. You guys are going to have Pluto being at 29 degrees in your 8th house, and this is going to be activating a very deep, passionate, intimate, vulnerable side of you. So the 8th house is one of the hidden houses in astrology. It is one of the most psychological houses in astrology, and it is also connected to mutual resources, the occult, anything esoteric, reversals of all kinds, meaning sudden changes in situations, as well as profound transformation. So these are the topics that will be coming up for you. And, you guys have been dealing with this, with Pluto being in your 8th house for a really long time, because Pluto has been there since, the year escapes me, but like literally the last 15 years or something like that. But now that Pluto is going to be at 29 degrees, this is like the time for you guys to really focus on these matters. And to be honest, even if you're not deliberately focusing on them, these will be coming up for you. It will be quite inescapable for you to not be delving into these matters. So the 8th house, like I said, is connected to mutual resources. So this represents, joint accounts, assets that you have with other people, inheritances, wills. And so some of you guys may be coming into some money. Someone may be helping you out from a financial point of view or with respect to mutual resources. There may be an inheritance that comes through. You may be drawing up a will, or you may be looking at sharing your resources with another person. And for others of you, this can see you splitting off your mutual resources. So maybe for some of you, you're joining them. For others of you, you are closing out that chapter, separating your bank accounts, and really just drawing a line in the sand when it comes to assets and resources that you have with another person. Now, like I said, the 8th house is connected to sex, intimacy, and emotional security and being vulnerable. So for many Geminis, this will be a very profound month when it comes to delving into these areas, whether this is with respect to your relationship with other people, looking back at past relationships, blockages when it comes to intimacy or being vulnerable, letting your guard down, and emotional security will be coming up in a big way for Geminis. And again, this could be with people or someone that you are involved with, or this could be healing from things that have basically caused you to create walls and barriers with respect to opening up to other people. And, whether this is being vulnerable with others or allowing other people to rely on you for emotional support. So obviously it could be cutting both ways. The eighth house is connected to the occult, anything esoteric, as well as psychology and psychiatry. So this can see you really delving deep into your psyche and removing subconscious blockages, really addressing addictions, fears, things that have been holding you back. There may have been things in your life that you have not wanted to address, but that have been continuously cropping up for you when it comes to, what makes you feel emotionally secure or what makes you feel emotionally insecure. And many of you could be going through a spiritual awakening, whether this is your first spiritual awakening or whether this is a second one or a third one or a fourth one. We can have multiple spiritual awakenings. It's not just like you have one and then that's just, you're done. You will continue to have more. I mean, most people who have one will continue to have subsequent ones. So you could have a profound psychic experience, psychic experience or spiritual experience, or this could be the unblocking of a chakra or the realignment of your chakra system. And for some of you, this could be the discovery of intuitive abilities, psychic abilities, whether this is clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, etc. And the eighth house, like I said before, is connected to deep healing. So this could see you really releasing something which has been either a psychological blockage, so emotional healing, or this could be physical healing, whether you are having some kind of procedure or surgery, or maybe, there are other ways or modalities through which you experience a deeply, let's say, a deeply healing experience, which leads to an incredible transformation. And lastly, with Pluto being at 29 degrees in the eighth house, like I said before, this is connected to sudden reversals. So things can just change on a dime. And honestly, it could be connected to any area of your life because the eighth house is like transformation and reversals, which cover all bases: the physical, the emotional, sexual, relationships. This could be to do with health because Pluto rules over your sixth house. This could be to do with work, again, because Pluto rules over your sixth house. And, Pluto and the eighth house both are associated with resources and finances. So a financial situation could be undergoing a sudden and unexpected transformation. Now, with Saturn being in your ninth house, in Aquarius, and trining us Geminis, this can indicate that in February, there'll be a focus on education, travel, your belief systems, spirituality, religion, and your vision for the future. And the ninth house, when it comes to future planning, it's more about things from a bigger picture perspective, or religious or spiritual, or maybe this is like how you perceive the world to even work or operate, whereas the 11th house is more about your active contribution towards your future. So basically, Saturn being in the ninth house can see you reaching conclusions when it comes to how you think your life is working out, how you think it's going to play out, what you see on the horizon. And, the ninth house is also associated with our connection to a higher level of faith and essentially optimism as well. So Saturn in the ninth house can see, at the anaretic degree, at 29 degrees, I might add, can see you coming through with some sort of profound realization about your future, what you're capable of, what you want to achieve, what you believe in, what you don't believe in, where you have allowed certain belief systems to really stunt your growth or your ability to basically go big, plan for a bigger future than you ever deemed possible for yourself. So I see this as breaking through some serious limitations and blockages, and there may be a lot of resistance that comes through because it is Saturn. So maybe you feel like there are people telling you you can't achieve this, you can't do this. Maybe you feel like there's some red tape in between the dream that you really, really want for your life and things that are shaping up in the 3D. There could be some really physical, tangible obstacles and limitations that you do need to try to overcome. But Saturn trining you is like saying, hey, you can have this, you can do this, you may have to wait. There may be a big test or hurdle or obstacle. There may be some sort of judgment that comes through because we do have Saturn here. And, for others of you, this could be connected to travel and education. You guys thinking that you never could have had this kind of education that you've wanted for yourself, that you won't qualify, or that you won't get into the college that you want, or the university that you want, or that you simply won't have the credentials required to achieve your goal or your dream or your vision for the future. So this is really about overcoming those self-limiting beliefs. And, the same can be said for travel. So maybe there's a big trip that you want to go on, or maybe maybe you want to relocate to another country and you feel like, maybe government policies are getting in the way, or maybe this is about you feeling like there is some kind of physical distance between where you are and where you want to be, even if it's not necessarily incorporating overseas travel. So that's how Pluto and Saturn are going to be impacting you guys. So now let's have a look at the full moon and the new moon. Okay, so on the 5th of February, there will be a full moon in Leo in your 3rd house. So this can see you completing some kind of communications project or writing piece. This can see you finishing up an education course, whether this is something that you were participating in, or maybe you were creating some kind of course or curriculum. This can see you taking a test or an exam, because the 3rd house rules over tests and examinations. You may receive some kind of qualification, certification, diploma. You may be finishing up an apprenticeship. And to be honest, even if you don't finish these things, you may be walking away from them. You're like, hey, I don't want to do this course. I'm bored. Or, I thought I wanted to finish this diploma, but I'm realizing that it's not for me. So that could be one way that that's playing out. The 3rd house is connected to sales and contracts. So this could see you landing an important contract, doing a deal with a client, coming to an agreement with a sale or some kind of negotiation. With the 3rd house, with this being a full moon in the 3rd house, this could see you completing a contract and, basically just like shaking hands with the person and being like, hey, it was nice doing business with you. Good luck. Goodbye. The 3rd house is connected to group projects, small teams and friends. So this could see you completing a group project. This could see you actually walking away from a friendship, or basically having a really important conversation with another person. It doesn't need to be friends. It could just be an extremely clarifying conversation that you have, because the 3rd house is connected to communications. So on the 20th of February, there will be a new moon in Pisces, and this will be occurring in your 10th house. The 10th house is connected to career, status, reputation, responsibilities, and positions of leadership. So this could see you planting a new seed here, or it could be like the start of a new job, the start of a new career, taking your career in a new direction, starting in a new industry. You could be starting your own business. You could be receiving a promotion, or you could just be applying for a new job. And, this could just be like the beginning stages or the beginning phases. And for some of you, this could be redefining your professional status. So, for example, I'm obviously an astrologer, and for those of you who don't know, I'm also a tarot reader, and there are other directions that I want to take my business in, which are more, let's say, occult and esoteric. So I'll be planting the seeds for those as a Gemini rising myself. And, this is just like adding a new dimension to your professional status or to your resume. And for some of you, this could just be taking on a new position of leadership, or you could actually be putting the wheels in motion to resign from your job. This could be you cutting a plan to walk away from a job, or to retire from work, from the workforce altogether. And by the way, this doesn't just need to be connected to work. Obviously, some of you guys will be retired or unemployed. This could see you becoming a grandparent. And for others of you, this could be you taking on a new responsibility, which impacts how society sees you, or how you define yourself, or how you refer to yourself. And so, Gemini, if you want to know how your 2023 is going to play out for you, you can purchase your yearly horoscope by clicking on the link in the description box below. And now let's move on to Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Risings. So Cancer, this is a big month for you because you are a cardinal sign, and Pluto will be in your your seventh house, which is connected to relationships, marriage, promises and commitments that we make to other people, friendships, clients, sales. It is a business house. So these are the topics that you guys will be focusing on, whether you deliberately put your focus there or whether this just starts showing up for you in the month of February. And the reason I'm saying that is because Pluto will be at 29 degrees. It'll start off at 28 degrees and then it'll get to 29 degrees on the 12th of February. So Pluto will be at 29 degrees Capricorn from the 12th of February through till the 23rd of March. So that is how long your relationships and all those other aforementioned things will be of importance to you for. So first of all, the Cancers who will be feeling this the most will be those who are in the last 10 degrees of Cancer, so 20 to 29 degrees. This is the third decan. Special mention to 28 and 29 degree Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Risings. So this is all about relationships, give and take, if relationships are working, if they're not. For some of you, this could be the breakdown of a relationship, I'm not going to lie. But for others of you, this can be a rebirth. And for some of you, if you're single, this can actually be you guys meeting a soulmate. Okay, so big changes are coming through with all kinds of relationships, whether these are romantic, friendships, how you're showing up in relationships when it comes to give and take. So this can see you guys realizing which relationships have been draining you, which ones have been breathing life and energy into you. There can be really deep and profound healing that takes place in one or more of your relationships. So Cancers, if you feel as though your romantic relationship has been on the rocks, this does not necessarily mean the end of that relationship. In fact, this could be the breakthrough moment where there is a rebirth that takes place for you guys. So essentially, relationships will not be the same after the end of March. Okay, you are going through a hard rewiring when it comes to how you show up, what you ask for, what you give, what you receive. And for some of you, this can be a lesson in receivership. Cancer energy can get very, very bogged down by wanting to nurture others and be compassionate and empathetic and just being in a state of constantly giving. But it can be really, really hard for Cancers to receive. And honestly, that's what Pluto is all about. Pluto is about mutual resources, right? But this indicates that giving and receivership that takes place. Pluto is about sex. Pluto is about emotional intimacy and emotional security. So this is really going to be a defining period of time where Cancers are examining the walls that they have put up around themselves, especially because Cancers are represented by the crab, which represents this hard shell, this tough exterior, but this, soft inside. I myself have Venus and Mars and Chiron and South Node in Cancer, so I'm very well acquainted with Cancerian energy. And, sometimes astrologers say that, oh, Cancers are like sensitive and, giving and loving. But sometimes Cancers just have the hardest exterior, and they can be extremely stoic, and they can use their pincers to sort of keep people at, arm's length, because they don't want to show their vulnerable side. They don't want to show that underbelly. So this can really see you guys overcoming that natural inclination to defend yourself and to protect your vulnerable side. And, for some of you, your relationships really depend on this. So if you are the ones in a relationship, whether this is romantic or a friendship, who has been holding back for fear of getting hurt, this could be negatively impacting your relationship, where it's like the other person can't get through to you, and that person, they may be at a point where it's make or break, and you either need to show up as your vulnerable and authentic self and put your feelings out on the table, or that could be a moment where that person goes, okay, I don't have access to this person maybe being you, and so I need to decide like what I want to do with this relationship. And honestly, that's not to freak you guys out. I really think that this is a powerful time, powerful set of transits where you guys are going to be able to really be vulnerable and be open about your true feelings. Now, with the 7th house being connected to clients and business relationships and business partnerships and friendships, the same can be said for all these connections. Do I want to be friends with this person? What am I getting out of this? Do I want to be in business with this person? Is this equal give and take? And for others of you, you could be actually landing a huge client. This could be joining forces with Pluto representing mutual resources. So this could be coming together. Maybe some of you will actually be getting married or becoming really not just exclusive, but just like inextricably linked from another person, bonded deeply with another person. So that's how Pluto is going to be impacting you, or at least that's one of the ways it can impact you. Now, with Saturn being at 29 degrees in your 8th house, this is actually touching on these scorpionic themes, because the 8th house is the house that is connected to Scorpio. It's the house that Pluto rules over, essentially, as well as Mars. And this is tying in what I mentioned with Pluto being in the 7th house. And that's because the 8th house is connected to vulnerability, mutual resources, sex, intimacy, and this can see you guys really having to dig deep into where the fears are, where the blockages are, overcoming these, getting comfortable with being vulnerable with another person. And even if this isn't involving other people specifically, this is you really going into why you are experiencing certain themes within your intimate relationships with other people, whether these are sexual or not. But on the sexual side, this can see you having a breakthrough if there's been self-limiting beliefs here, blockages, honestly, just issues sexually as well. So this could be cropping up for you, whether you are with another person and you are experiencing these, or maybe you are being open and vulnerable with another person about those matters. And again, even if you're single, you may just be doing a deep dive into how you feel, where these blockages are coming from. And maybe some of you will be working with a psychologist or a psychiatrist, or someone who is in, let's say, the occult or esoteric field or industries. And this is a time for big breakthroughs for you guys, but there may be one last piece de resistance, okay? There could be a big hurdle to overcome or a blockage. It could be an emotional time for you guys. So, that is something to be aware of. And the eighth house is connected to mutual resources, taxes, transformation, and healing. So these are all topics where your attention will be directed, whether you like it or not. It will simply be coming up for you. But I really do think that this is a time for profound healing, epiphanies, breakthroughs, realizations, overcoming fears, blockages, addictions, and also some of you may be separating your resources from another person, because Saturn does rule over your seventh house. So this could be like the division of assets and resources. So lastly, Cancer, let's have a look at the full moon and the new moon. So on the 5th of February, there will be a full moon in Leo in your second house. So this is connected to finances, resources, values, salary, food, the natural world, nature, as well as it is also connected to anything that we store. So the second house is also connected to memories, actually, funnily enough. So with the full moon in the second house, just along that line of thinking, there could be some kind of memory that is unlocked around the 5th of February, plus or minus a couple of weeks. This could be a profound realization, and this could lead to an elevated level of, honestly, self-worth, how you perceive yourself, understanding what your values are, actually understanding what your needs are as well. And in turn, this can lead to being able to earn more money, increase your earning potential or capacity. Even on a financial level, you could be coming into a lump sum of money, or valuables or resources, because the full moon is all about completion. Okay, so honestly, I would just pamper yourselves around the 5th of February, because the second house is connected to those things. So maybe go and, get your hair done, nails done, treat yourself to a nice meal, self-care, I don't know, just honestly, whatever self-care means to you. And lastly, for the month, on the 20th of February, there will be a new moon in Pisces in your ninth house. And new moons are all about a new beginning taking place or a new chapter. So this is about planting the seeds for that. For some of you, this could be making plans for travel, education, something to do with spirituality or religion, whether this is like a pilgrimage or just, maybe even planning to engage the services of some kind of coach or mentor, because the ninth house does rule over those things. And the ninth house is simply connected to your vision for the future. So for some of you guys, this is like, I know what I want for my future. These are the seeds that I want to plant. This is actually a really good time for you to write down what you want to manifest into your life, what your dream is for the future. And with that, I would remove as many conditions around specifics or timing as possible. So, feel like, hey, I want to enter into a new relationship. Make sure that you are, first of all, setting the conditions for that. So this could be, I want to enter into a new relationship, which is in alignment with my best and highest good. But then you also want to steer away from, I want a new relationship by the end of the year, because that's like commissioning an artist for a beautiful art piece, and you're like, hey, TikTok, there's a rush job on that, and I need this by this particular date, and then you may not get the best work, i.e., a relationship which is in alignment with you, just to use that analogy. So if you want to know how your 2023 is going to shape up for you, you can purchase your 2023 yearly horoscope by clicking on the link in the description box below. All my horoscopes are around about an hour and 45 minutes approximately, so they are jam-packed with information, and I highly recommend them. And so now let's move on to Leos. So this is for Leo sun, moon, and risings. And guys, this is a big month for you, and that is because Saturn will be at 29 degrees in your seventh house. So this is activating that relationship sector for you. But first, let's start off with Pluto being in Capricorn in your 6th house. So this is making an in conjunction to you. It's not a major aspect, but essentially the 6th house is connected to health, habits, daily routines, anything that's out of balance, any kind of conflictual situation, your day-to-day life, duties, admin stuff, kind of like the boring stuff, also cleaning as well. And the 6th house is connected to debts. And one of the major things that the 6th house rules over is work. So with Pluto being at 29 degrees for half the month, so it'll be at 28 degrees until the 12th of February, then from the 12th of February till the 23rd of March, Pluto will be at 29 degrees. This is really about wrapping up a major cycle with respect to one or more of those areas. Probably it'll hit on all of those levels in one way or another. It's 1:11 p.m. right now as I'm saying this, where I am in Melbourne. So, that is extra confirmation as far as I am concerned. For those of you who have basically been dealing with some kind of health issue, health ailment, especially if this is long-standing or chronic, or maybe this is connected to psychological matters. Pluto being at 29 degrees can see you really doing the work to overcome this, or to alleviate some of that pain, or to try and heal yourself. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's the same outcome for everyone. Obviously, this is a general reading, but ultimately, this can see you discovering the root cause. This is a bit of a trigger warning, so please just take this with a grain of salt and apply it to your situation. A health situation may reach some kind of peak for you guys, and this can really be drawing your attention to this matter. How can I heal it? How can I work on this issue? How can I resolve it? And this can see you guys overcoming that, or understanding the deeper nature, or maybe you discover what you need to know about how to pursue a new form of healing or a healing modality, or maybe you come across some kind of healthcare or medical practitioner who helps you. All this could be to do with holistic health, or seeing a naturopath or a nutritionist. Really, health will be something that is at the forefront of your mind during this period of time. And I really think lots of Leos will be transforming their lives for the better from a physical perspective. And maybe this is achieving some kind of physical goal or physical milestone. Maybe you've been doing physical therapy to try and regain the use of a certain body part, let's say, and this is like that final hurdle, and it leads to a breakthrough. So that's on the health front. But talking about habits and routines, if some of you have been basically just participating in bad routines, habits, there's maybe routines that you want to implement, or habits that you want to kick, this is a perfect time to do so. So you can be overcoming an addiction. You may be giving up smoking or drinking, or harder substances. You may be implementing new routines which really transform your way of life, and this can lead to better emotional stability. And I'm saying that because Pluto rules over your 4th house, which is connected to that emotional security and stability. And for some of you, this could be habits and routines which are connected to your family life or your home life. This could be to do with, cleaning up around the place, whether this is in your home or not. This could be a period of time where you're decluttering, cleaning, just going through the archives, and honestly doing a huge purge, which I highly recommend, because because Pluto is like death and rebirth. So out with the old and in with the new. Any area of your life which has been out of balance or causing you some sort of stress or anxiety will simply be addressed during this period of time, whether this is through your own volition or not. And some of you may be paying off a debt. Okay, so you can come out of debt. You can feel like, you're no longer indebted to another person, whether this is emotionally or not. If you have felt like there's been a person in your life or something that has really had this like vice-like grip of control over you, this can see you really fighting that and overcoming that and actually taking control back in your day-to-day life. Now, lastly, the sixth house is connected to your work. So many Leos will be walking away from a job, an industry, changing up your work, changing up where you work, how you work. This could be a huge shift. Some of you may just be retiring from the workforce altogether, because the sixth house is one of the houses which is connected to work. So is the 10th house. And for others of you, this could be taking your business or the work that you do to a new level. Maybe you are employing people. Maybe you are scaling up your business. Maybe you are closing down your business. Maybe you are becoming self-employed or committing to some sort of act of service. So there are huge changes that are coming through on the work front for you guys. Now, with Saturn being in Aquarius in your 7th house, this indicates the end of a major cycle or chapter when it comes to relationships, friendships, your marriage, commitments and promises that you make to other people, friendships, clients, sales, etc. So this can see you basically doing away with karma that you've been experiencing in these relationships, because Saturn rules over karma, obstacles, challenges, limitations, delays. If you are in a relationship already and there has been some sort of ongoing battle or issue with your significant other, this can see you going through that final test or hurdle in the month of February, especially, the last few days of February and the first week of March. And it's like you're ironing out your differences, or you are, trying to get on the same page, or you could be walking away from an important relationship, whether this is romantic or a friendship or a business collaboration. So this could see you fulfilling a commitment or a promise, because the 7th house is connected to our obligations to other people. This is why it's a house of marriage, because what is marriage if not an enormous commitment to another person? So for some of you, you could actually be making a relationship official or exclusive, because Saturn is about being in something for the long haul. Okay, so on one hand, yes, it's karma, limitations, delays, or distance, but on the other hand, Saturn actually likes to be in the 7th house, because it can represent that we are committing to something. So obviously these messages are slightly contradictory, but obviously this is a general reading, so just take it in the way that it resonates for you. In a nutshell, some of you may be binding yourselves to another person, forming a long-standing commitment with another person, and for others of you, this can be walking away from a heavy commitment or obligation or a relationship, especially if it's one that has been extremely serious, or maybe one that has been long-standing. And again, please apply this to relationships, friendships, clients, sales, business deals of all kinds. And lastly, if relationships have been a source of, let's say, dissatisfaction for you, if you have felt like you're unlucky in love, or that something always gets in the way, this can see you really addressing the stories that you've been telling yourselves, which have turned into self-fulfilling prophecies. So this may even just be you overcoming self-limiting beliefs surrounding your ability to enter into healthy relationships of all kinds, to be honest. So on the 5th of February, sorry, I lost my train of thought, there will be a full moon in Leo, and this will be in your 1st house. And it's a big deal. Yes, we have full moons and new moons in Leo once a year. So, in a way, there is that that repetition that we experience, but anytime there's a full moon or a new moon in our sign, it impacts us. So with the full moon being in your first house on the 5th of February, this is like a moment of celebration. Okay, so maybe you're achieving some kind of milestone, maybe there's something to celebrate, maybe you're happy with a creative project that you're finishing, or a physical transformation. There could be a glow up that you're experiencing. You could be walking away from a relationship. You could be entering into a relationship just because it's activating that first and that seventh house axes. And as Leos, you could just feel as though you are really coming out of your shell and just feeling like there's something to celebrate about yourself. Now, to be fair, this full moon is squaring Uranus in Taurus, and this Uranus is in your 10th house. So, there is some kind of unexpected element that comes through with this full moon. So there could be something surprising or shocking, and this could impact the way that other people see you, or your status in a professional sense, or just like in a public sense. But for others of you, this could actually just be like a realization when it comes to your work. And because Uranus is in your 10th house, maybe this is the end of a job, walking away from a job, landing a new job, a career milestone, or a new opportunity that comes up suddenly or abruptly, and there could be like a sense of urgency for you to capitalize on this. Now, lastly, Leos, on the 20th of February, there will be a new moon in Pisces in your 8th house. The 8th house is connected to intimacy, mutual resources, sex, taxes, spirituality, anything occult or esoteric in nature. So, it could be hitting on any one of those levels. There could be a new sexual relationship that begins, or a new intimate relationship, or accessing a deeper level of intimacy with another person, being comfortable with being vulnerable. You could be joining your mutual resources with another person. As an example, you could be opening up a bank account with another person. You could be starting to see a psychologist or a psychiatrist, or maybe an astrologer or a tarot reader. Yes, I do private readings. If you want to book one, you can do so by clicking on the link in the description box below. The 8th house is connected to deep healing and transformation. So maybe there is an area of your life where you want to experience deep and profound healing, or where you want to experience a big transformation. So you could be setting intentions with respect to one of those things. And guys, if you want to purchase your 2023 yearly horoscope, you can do so by clicking on the link in the description box below. I go into an incredible amount of detail, and the reading is about an hour and 45 minutes. So I do recommend that you purchase yours if you are interested in your one. And now let's have a look at Virgos. So I am a Virgo moon. I do love doing the Virgo horoscope because I'm always like, ooh, how is this going to impact me on a personal level? But of course, let's look at how this is going to impact all Virgos. So first of all, Pluto will be in Capricorn in your 5th house, making a trine to you. So during February, Pluto will only be going between 28 degrees and 29 degrees. So the Virgos who will feel this the most will be those in the last 10 degrees of Virgo, so 20 to 29 degrees, which is the 3rd decan. Special mention for my 28 and 29 degree Virgos. You guys will be feeling it the most. So first of all, Pluto obviously is the slowest moving planet. So it's not as though things just crop up overnight. A lot of this stuff will have been building for a long time, right? So nevertheless, Pluto in the 5th house is connected to creativity, children, fun, sex, romance, our hobbies, our passions, and confidence leading to performance of all kinds. Okay, so with Pluto being in the 5th house and being at that 29 degrees, that critical degree, there is really some sort of chapter or cycle that is coming to a close with respect to one or more of those aforementioned areas. And with Pluto trining you, this is a really beneficial and helpful transit. You know, this is something where it's where you're going to feel like you have graduated in a sense, or like you've mastered something or completed something or understood something at such an incredibly deep level that it completely transforms this area of your life. So for some of you, this could be unlocking your inner creative genius. This could be mastery over certain talents. And these are natural talents that you have in the 5th house. So this is like what you're born with being able to do. So this could be a natural talent for music, art, singing, dancing, any kind of creative passion that you have. It doesn't need to be those traditional ones. It could be something new age as well. Anything in which you express yourself creatively. Like even what I'm doing, you know, with YouTube videos, like this is me expressing myself in my own creative way. It's not like I'm a necessarily good at, let's say, singing or whatnot. Like this is what I consider to be my creative hobby or passion and my way of expressing myself. So maybe what you do is through social media or writing. Or just honestly anything. Maybe it's even like, you know, making candles. It doesn't matter what it is, whatever is creative for you. This is what you are recognizing within yourself and realizing that this makes you special, that this makes you unique. And maybe there's a level of mastery that is coming through in February where you are really taking ownership of certain creative hobbies or passions of yours. Now, these may be taboo, okay, because it is Pluto. And I'm all too familiar with this because I have Pluto in my 5th house, just natally speaking. So it could be something that other people are not super on board with. Maybe it's astrology or tarot and you come from a religious family. Maybe it's pole dancing and other people are like, whoa, that's pretty out there. And you're like, well, this is me. You know, so Pluto in the 5th house can indicate that maybe there is some kind of shame surrounding a way in which you want to express yourself creatively. And maybe this is because you felt like you weren't good enough, that you weren't talented enough, that you couldn't do anything with this gift. But Pluto in the 5th house is like, bloody oath, you can and you should and you will. Now, on a different level, Pluto being in the 5th house and trining you can indicate that there is some kind of epiphany when it comes to children, whether this is wanting to have children or not, whether this is your relationship with one of your children. Maybe this is your own child having some kind of enormous breakthrough or transformation that is coming through in their life, and it's showing up in a really noticeable way. Now, the 5th house is connected to having fun, pleasure, joy. You know, it's like childlike joy and how we express that. So, you know, for Virgos, maybe there has been issues for you guys surrounding pursuing hobbies or passions or just having fun. You know, maybe you've been all work and no play, which again, as a Virgo moon, I know all too well. This is something that has been on my mind lately, where it's like, you know, there have been many opportunities for me to have fun or just take the day off and just go and do something enjoyable. And as a Virgo, it's like, no, I need to work. I need to focus on this. So, you know, the last 10 years or so, there could have been a real battle of wills on an in level between, you know, what you find enjoyable and pleasurable and what you allow yourself to experience and pursue and enjoy. Now, with the 5th house, being connected to sex and romance and dating, and this is more like, you know, the casual side of dating. Some of you Virgos may be addressing issues in this department. Now, that could be with getting into a romantic relationship or issues with your significant other, a lack of romance or spontaneity. Maybe you have felt insecure about dating or sex, or maybe there's been blockages or issues in the sexual department. And for many of you Virgos, this can see you starting a new chapter, because this is what it's all about. We're tying up the experience of Pluto in the 5th house, and then next month Pluto's going to move into Aquarius in the 6th house. So you guys are overcoming some kind of blockage when it comes to emotional intimacy or sexual or physical intimacy with another person. And ultimately, I expect that for many Virgos, there will be an elevation in how confident you feel in life, just generally speaking, because the 5th house is connected to confidence. So let's have a look at Saturn in the 6th house. This is all about your health, daily habits, routines, things that are out of balance, your work life, and debt, as well as like duties and day-to-day stuff. So first of all, Virgos are very well attuned to the energy of the 6th house, and I actually think that Saturn being in the 6th house probably is easier for Virgos to handle than other signs to handle, because, us Virgos are like, yeah, let's focus on health, let's focus on work, and that comes naturally to us. Having said that, there's always a deficit for Virgos, and I just see this every time. Virgos are perfectionistic. They like to put in, 110% into almost every area of their life, and yet there's always one or two areas that fall by the wayside. And, for some Virgos, it could be like, I'm on top of my game in work, everything's clean in the house, but my car is messy, it's a bomb. Or maybe, I'm not going to go into other examples, but just generally speaking, there's usually one area of life where Virgos fall woefully short. I won't reveal mine, but I know what it is, and I know what I'm going to be focusing on in February. Okay, I'll just tell you, it's to do with health and nutrition. So there you go. So with Saturn being at 29 degrees, this is all about you guys mastering this area of your life. And to be fair, there could be some kind of crisis which crops up where it's like, hey, now my attention is really drawn to this. I really need to focus on my health, or I really need to kick this bad habit or implement a new daily routine, because what I've been doing isn't really working for me. If there have been let's say issues in relationships with other people, or some kind of conflict or imbalance in your life, just generally speaking, February is when you will be addressing it. And also the 6th house, like I said, is connected to work. So this can see you basically streamlining your work. What's working for you, what's not, how are you setting up your schedule, how are you setting up your day or your week? Is it too heavy in some areas and not enough in other areas? The 6th house is connected to cleaning and decluttering. Again, on a personal level, I know that this is something that I'm going to be doing in the month of February, and certainly into the first week of March. And essentially, Saturn will be changing signs on the 7th of March. So that's how long we're going to be experiencing Saturn in the latter degrees of Aquarius for. But just to give you the exact dates and degrees, Saturn will be in Aquarius, traversing 25 to 29 degrees from the beginning of February through till the 7th of March, but it'll actually be at 29 degrees on the 27th of February. So that's, in my opinion, when it's kind of like make it or break it territory, just with respect to health, habits, routine, and work. So there may be like a major work project which you are closing out at the end of February and at the start of March. This is when I would be lightening your load. So just as an example, as a Virgo moon, I'm probably not even going to do readings between those dates, just to, keep it free for other things that may be cropping up. But naturally, there may just be like a work matter which you need to address your attention to. put your attention towards. Now let's have a look at the full moon and the new moon. So on the 5th of February, there will be a full moon in Leo at in your 12th house. And this will be at 16 degrees. I just realized I haven't mentioned the degrees of the new moons or the full moons at all till now. I'll put it in the description, you guys. Anyway, so the full moon will be in Leo in your 12th house on the 5th of February. This is a very psychological house. This is a very spiritual house. This can see you having some kind of dream, which is very interesting. Maybe it's like a premonition, or maybe you feel like you are receiving some kind of message in your dreams that you need to pay attention to. The 12th house is a very creative house, so you could actually be finishing some kind of creative project, maybe creative writing, and the 5th house is connected. The 12th house is connected to music as well, so it could be a creative project which involves music. The 12th house is connected to, like I said, spirituality as well as yoga, and meditation. So you could have some kind of profound experience which is done through yoga or meditation, or you could have a very special psychic or occult experience, whether you are like going to see a tarot reader, or maybe like a hypnotherapist, or maybe you do your own readings for yourself, and you just have some sort of spiritual download of information or some divine knowledge or wisdom that comes through. And the 12th house is connected to self-sabotaging behavior. So this could be an epiphany regarding ways in which you have been limiting yourself or tripping yourself up. Now, on the 20th of February, there will be a new moon in Pisces, and this will be taking place in your 7th house. So new moons indicate a new chapter starting or a new beginning. This can see you maybe joining forces in a business capacity, so entering into a business partnership with another person. You could be drawing up some kind of contract with another person, or entering into an agreement. Even if you are already in business with this person, it could just be like a new project, or something new that you're doing, like a new business venture. This could see you signing on a new client, or entering into a new contract just for yourself. Maybe this is to do with your property and living circumstances, just as an example. On a different level, the 7th house is connected to friendships and relationships of all kinds. So you could be making friends with a new person. If you own your own business, this could be a new type of service that you are offering, because the 7th house is connected to services. This could be you guys entering into an exclusive relationship, or taking a romantic relationship to a new level. So there could be a new development in that department. In some way, shape, or form, around the 20th of February, plus or minus a couple of weeks, there will be a new development when it comes to a relationship with another person, a contract, or a business deal. And so, Virgo, if you enjoyed this horoscope and you want to know how your 2023 yearly horoscope is going to play out, you can do so by clicking on the link in the description box below. And if you enjoyed the horoscope, please give the video a thumbs up and feel free to subscribe to the channel. So this is for Libra, Sun, Moon, and Risings. You guys are going to be feeling it this month on, two levels, okay? Pluto will be squaring you, which will be intense, but then Saturn will be trining you, which will be great. So with Pluto in Capricorn in your 4th house and squaring you as a Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising, first of all, the Libras who will feel this the most will be those in the last 10 degrees of Libra, so 20 to 29 degrees. This is the 3rd decan. Pluto will be going from 28 to 29 degrees in February, so special mention for 28 and 29 degree Libras. Anyway, Pluto being in your 4th house indicates that the area of focus for you guys is family, roots, heritage, lineage, ancestry, your childhood, your upbringing, as well as you guys as parents, if you are parents, that is. So family and experiences with family, relationships with family, even if there's like no contact with your family or if they've passed away, doesn't matter. You guys are looking back at the past. You're looking at emotional security. What was your upbringing like? What did you like about it? What did you not like about it? How can you heal from this? How can you transform from these experiences? What do you want to do with your family going forwards? Do you want to have kids? Do you want to expand your family? You know, there could be some deep-seated emotional, let's say, issues, and in some instances, trigger warning, traumas, which are coming up for you in February. Okay, so the 29th degree is the critical degree. This is when, honestly, you know, things go down and we're just like, hey, I'm focusing on this, I'm deeply emotional. Things can reach some kind of critical point for you where you're like, I need to heal from this. I need to change this in my life. I need to address this. I cannot ignore this any longer. This can be dredging up fears, blockages, issues, you know, within relationship dynamics. Okay, the 7th house isn't the only house which is connected to relationships. The 4th house is like, you know, your emotional relationships with other people, and how emotionally secure you feel within these relationships. So there could be an event that takes place which gets you to address these matters, or it could just be that these things are cropping up for you quite naturally and you're, you know, attuning to this energy and looking at ways to purge things that have been holding you back emotionally. The 4th house is connected to your property and living circumstances. So this could see you guys deciding that you don't want to live where you live anymore. You want to, you know, rent somewhere else, relocate, buy, sell. This could be a huge change that comes through that's connected to um, maybe relocating to a foreign country, or moving away from your family, or moving back in with family, or reconnecting with them, family aside. How you've set up your life, how you've put your roots down, this is coming up for review. And it's like, am I happy? Am I not happy? If I'm not happy, what can I do to change? Because this isn't working for me anymore. And I'm not going to lie, this will be, I think, an emotional period of time for you, especially from mid-February, actually from the 12th of February through till the 23rd of March. So just, you know, prepare yourself emotionally, have your support network in place, and maybe, you know, you'll want to be erecting emotional boundaries with other people, whether this is to do with family members or people that you live with, or just relationships in general. You may just want to have some extra emotional padding or feeling of security, because you may be feeling quite vulnerable at this time. And also, I'm not trying to like project this onto you guys. You know, some of you maybe won't feel emotional at all, and that's totally cool. Just remember that at the same time, Saturn is trining you as a Libra sun, moon, or rising. So this is, I think, an added layer of, I want to say, emotional protection, because Saturn trining you from the 5th house is like, I'm protecting my confidence. I'm protecting my joy, my hobbies, my passions, maybe your children from other family members as well, or from, let's say, cultural influences that you don't necessarily agree with. And, you know, even just analyzing Saturn separately from Pluto, Saturn being in the 5th house can see you guys really focusing on the ways in which you've been blocking yourself from having fun, from expressing yourself creatively, from, you know, maybe not even stepping into the truest essence of your authentic self, which is really what the 5th house is all about. So there could be creative projects that some of you are completing during this period of time. Maybe this is a huge body of creative work, or a writing piece, or some kind of performance, which will take a lot of personal effort and time of yours, and as in like putting time into it. The 5th house is also the 5th house is also associated with owning your own business. So this can see you maybe setting up your business, and there's that last huge push before it's ready to go live, or before you're ready to, you know, put it out into the world. Even if you own your own business, this could be like a huge project that you were trying to execute, and it could be taking all of your energy and effort, especially like in the last few days of February and even the first 7 days of March, at which point Saturn will move into Pisces. For others of you, you could actually be closing down your business. You could be streamlining it. You could be taking on less clients. You could be really mastering an area of your business, or just tending to some of the nitty-gritty details, which could be kind of sucking the fun out of it. I promise you guys, after Saturn moves into Pisces from the 7th of March and it's done with Aquarius for another 3 decades, you guys will have more fun. You guys will enjoy your life more. If you have children, these burdens can either lift or be alleviated somewhat. If you have a child who's been struggling with something, Saturn leaving your 5th house is going to see them struggling less, and a huge improvement in their life. If you've been blocked romantically or sexually, or even just like you haven't wanted to date, or you haven't even met someone or been able to date, Saturn leaving your 5th house is like, cool, you can go and do that. Saturn really has been blocking your access to creativity, fun, sex, passion, romance, spontaneity, and to an extent, confidence. And when I say blocking, it's not like it, stops you from doing these things. It's like something gets in the way, and it's harder to access that energy. Or maybe this is like self-imposed limitations, and then, you're doing away with this chapter. Okay, so lastly for you guys, on the 5th of February, there will be a full moon in Leo, and this will be taking place in your 11th house at 16 degrees. So for some of you, this can see you completing a long-term project. Congratulations if that's you. So this could be the successful completion of this long-term project. Maybe you are receiving a reward or some kind of recognition for hard work well done. And this could be a residual form of income or a passive form of income coming through. It could be a lump sum of money. It could be someone actually investing in you for some way, well, for one reason or another, I should say. For others of you, this could see you maybe attending some kind of event or a concert or like a social gathering. You could be actually reuniting with a friend. For others of you, to be fair, this could indicate a falling out with a friend. It certainly doesn't have to, though, because the full moon is sextiling you as a Libra. And for others of you, this could be potentially walking away from a community that you've been part of that doesn't really serve you anymore, especially given that this full moon actually will be squaring Uranus in Taurus. So I feel like there is some kind of unexpected element that is coming through with this full moon on the 5th of February, plus or minus a couple of weeks. Now, on the 20th of February, there will be a new moon in Pisces, and this will be taking place in your 6th house, and new moons are all about a new chapter starting or a new cycle. So this could be you guys applying for a new job, maybe starting a new job. There could be a new work project which is starting around this time, or that you're planting the seeds for. You could be engaging the services of a healthcare practitioner or someone who's going to help heal you in some kind of way. This could be a new health goal, a new health habit, a new routine that you are starting. And, the 6th house is also associated with employees. So you may be looking at hiring someone. In some way, shape, or form, it appears to be a new development that comes through on the work front, on the health front, or just with like your day-to-day habits and routines. And that's all I have for you, Libra. If you want to purchase your 2023 yearly horoscope, you can do so by clicking on the link in the description box below. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content on the channel, please hit the subscribe button. So this is for my Scorpio sun, moon, and risings. And this month is going to impact you Scorpios because Pluto is one of your ruling planets, and Saturn will be squaring you. So anytime we are squared by a planet, and especially if that planet's at 29 degrees, we feel it. So Pluto being in your 3rd house and sextiling you indicates that you're closing out this chapter of finding a new way to communicate. Okay, the third house is associated with communications of all kinds, whether these are written, verbal, writing pieces. This could be to do with writing a book, social media. Also, the third house is connected to friendships, siblings, relatives, and also our mindset. So Pluto being here in the third house and sextiling you indicates that you guys are really redefining the way that you communicate with other people, how you think. Do you have a glass half full attitude or glass half empty attitude or mindset, I should say? And this can see you really understanding your siblings or certain relatives or maybe even friends at a deeper level. And maybe this is going to lead to having some kind of thought-provoking conversation with another person. You could be healing one of these relationships, or it could be transforming. So just as an example, if you have had, let's say, historically speaking, a very difficult relationship with a sibling, this can see you transforming that relationship into a new way of being. And that is because Pluto is associated with death and rebirth. And it's also associated with healing. So, just as an example, well, taking this as an example, some of you may have had a very difficult relationship with a sibling and you're deciding that you want to cut them off. They're toxic. This is a toxic situation. I want to move into a no contact status with this sibling. Pluto being at 29 degrees and sextiling you will give you the courage and the strength to do that if that is what you want. On the other side of the coin, this can see you having an enormous breakthrough with your sibling. If it's always been difficult, there's always been challenges, but the two of you reach a place where you're like, hey, I don't want this for us anymore. Let's try to heal. Let's bury the hatchet. Even if there have been unspeakable, almost unforgivable actions that you have, committed against each other, or even if it's just gone one way, this can allow you guys to actually move on and transmute that energy into something healthier, because Pluto is all about purging and removing toxicity. And Pluto rules over secrets, but it's like we're bringing these out of the shadows and addressing these issues and, basically just transforming this relationship into a new state of being. And I just want to say that, it doesn't have to just be siblings. The third house rules over like relatives such as cousins, aunties, uncles, as well as friends, especially childhood friends. Now, with Saturn squaring you from the fourth house, first of all, the Scorpios who will feel this the most will be those in the last 10 degrees, so 20 to 29 degrees. And this and also for those of you who are even between 25 and 29 degrees. Sorry, I just blanked for a moment. You guys are going to feel it. But regardless, Saturn squaring you, it's still going to be felt no matter what Scorpio you are. So the fourth house is connected to family, roots, heritage, ancestry, lineage, our upbringing, our childhood, our property and living circumstances, as well as emotional security. And essentially, there is like some kind of test or hurdle that's coming through, especially towards the end of February, where it's like, Saturn will serve up one last test for you with respect to a family matter, a relationship with your family, how you perceive your upbringing or your childhood, maybe doing some deep and inner healing, some shadow work surrounding your roots, ancestry, and lineage. And for some of you, there may be an opportunity to really, really erect strong boundaries, because that's, Saturn giving you the power to say no to someone. So this could be like you not allowing someone to have emotional access to you, but also with Pluto sextiling you and connecting to siblings and relatives, I really feel like the topic of family will be very much at the forefront of your mind during February. And so if it's not necessarily erecting these boundaries, it could be bringing these walls down and really overcoming what you may experience as a karmic pattern or cycle, and you're finally doing away with it. So that is one way that Saturn squaring you could play out. With it, with the fourth house ruling over living circumstances and property matters, there may be some kind of test or obstacle with respect to where you are living. Maybe this is, you just having to put up with the last few weeks of a difficult situation, which is connected to where you live. Maybe this is to do with buying or selling. Maybe you have to clean up your house or declutter so that you can sell it. Maybe you were trying to arrange a big relocation, whether this is interstate, overseas, or perhaps even this could be, just navigating a really difficult move, so just keep your wits about you, Scorpio. Things are really, really going to improve for you once we get to March, and that's because Saturn will be moving into Pisces, which means it will be trining you. So that's really going to be alleviating that pressure. And to be honest, all fixed signs, Scorpios, Taurians, Aquarians, Leos, we've all been feeling it. So just know that things are going to really shift gears from next month. So just hold in there. Now, on the 10th of, keep saying the houses that it's in instead of the date. On the 5th of February, there will be a full moon in Leo in the 10th house at 16 degrees. So this indicates that some of you may be achieving a new level of leadership, whether this is in a work capacity or, being a leader in some other area of your life. You could be starting a new job, walking away from a job. There could be a career milestone that you are completing. And for others of you, this could be the release of a certain obligation, whether this is professional or maybe just like a burden or a responsibility, and you're like, oh, thank God, I don't need to do this anymore. And this could even be connected to family as well, where it's like, I used to help this person, or I used to care or do this, that, and the other for this person. And hey, I'm not going to do that anymore. And you can just, walk away from that, especially because this full moon will square Uranus and Taurus in your 7th house. So it's like, hey, I'm done and dusted with this relationship or with this connection. You could be breaking a contract, or you may even be ending a relationship as well, because this is squaring, like I said, Uranus in your 7th house. So on the 20th of February, there will be a new moon in Pisces in the 5th house. New moons indicate a new chapter or a new cycle starting somewhere in our lives. And the 5th house is connected to creativity, hobbies, passions, dating, romance. It is also associated with children as well. So a new moon in the 5th house can indicate a new creative project that's starting, maybe a new side hustle, a new business that you want to start, a new business venture, or a new element to your business. So maybe this is like a new product that you want to sell or a new service that you want to offer. A new romance could start. Even if it's not like you're dating this person, maybe you just start dating again, or maybe you meet someone special and this is just like the early phases. And this can see you really working on elevating your confidence as well. The 5th house is connected to vacations and hobbies and passions. So you could be discovering a new hobby or passion, putting attention towards it, or planning some kind of vacation or trip. And Scorpio, that's all I have for you for this month. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content on this channel, please hit the subscribe button. And if you want to purchase your 2023 yearly horoscope, you can do so by clicking on the link in the description box below. And now let's move on to Sagittarius. So Sagittarians, you guys will be having Pluto finishing up in your second house. So this can see you addressing your finances, resources, values, self-worth, matters to do with food, body image, and deservingness as well. And also, like, what are your values in terms of what you want for yourself, what you want for your life, and for your your legacy that you want to leave behind, which is what Pluto rules over. So Pluto will often take our power away with respect to the house that it is transiting, which in turn pushes us in the direction of reclaiming that power for ourselves. So, the last several years or 10 plus years, you could have really struggled with finances and resources, earning potential, debts, your ability to make money for yourself, how you make money. Is it in alignment with what you want to be doing? Is this how you want to be generating an income for yourself? There could have been issues surrounding your values, and maybe this ties your earning capacity or how much money you have into that. So there could have been a whole internal dialogue surrounding, what do I earn? How do I make money? How do I make more money? Why am I spending all my money? Where is my money going? You could have been buying things to fill some kind of void, emotionally speaking. So finances, resources, and valuables and possessions could have really been playing some kind of psychological part into your inner psyche, and this could have been connected to your self-worth and really, what you think that you deserve. And ultimately, you're closing out this chapter. You're realizing what you deserve. You're realizing what your earning potential capacity is, which, by the way, is limitless. Let that sink in. Now, on a different level, the second house is connected to how we nourish ourselves. So this is where we get finances coming into play, right? Where it's like, what are we spending money on? What are we treating ourselves to? What do we keep in storage? The second house is connected to storage. So this could be a time where you are purging, which is associated with Pluto. Getting rid of things that are toxic, getting rid of things that are having a negative energetic impact on you. And, this could really also be a time where you are reshaping your relationship with food as well as body image. So maybe you're getting healthier. Maybe you're doing a purge when it comes to ways or things that you have been eating or ingesting, which have really not been good for you. And also, this does tie in substance abuse as well, because we've got Pluto here in the second house, and the second house is anything that we're ingesting. Now, on a different level, the second house represents our values, like I said, and food. So here we tie in deservingness. What do I deserve? Because Pluto is mutual resources. So this is what we're receiving from other people. How much do I deserve to receive from another person? How much should I be giving to another person? Are you giving too much of your resources away? Are you sharing your valuables and your possessions willy-nilly with people who don't deserve it? And are you struggling with receiving emotional support, which is Pluto, from others? So there's like this whole conversation internally, which is connected to what you earn, what you're capable of earning, what you purchase, the valuables that you have, how much you have in storage, what you're eating, how you are nourishing yourself, even from like a beauty care perspective. And don't side eye me, Sagittarians, and think that that's superficial. First of all, I'm a Taurus, so I'm going to talk about it. Second of all, how you spend money on yourself matters. It's the simple stuff. Clothing, are you wearing clothes that you've had for 15 years because you feel like you don't deserve to go out and buy yourself a new t-shirt? Obviously, we're all on different ends of the spectrum when it comes to finances and affordability, especially at this present moment in time. And as this is a general reading, what I'm challenging you to address is look at your financial situation and look at what you spend money on. And, obviously everything is relative, but really drill down into, are you selling yourself short? Are you underspending because you feel like you don't deserve things, even though these may be the most basic of needs, which is the second house? Or are you overspending? So that's another way that that could be playing out. So February is really going to be a month where you are addressing these things. They'll be coming up for you, like right in front of your face, and you won't be able to ignore it. And also, one last thing, Pluto is connected to sex, intimacy, and being emotionally vulnerable with another person. And with the second house being connected to our values and our resources and what we feel we deserve, there could be some conversation or introspection which comes up with regard to what do I deserve in these emotionally intimate relationships, or even in a sexual sense as well. The second house is also connected to self-pleasure, so I'm just going to leave that there with you guys to connect certain dots. Now, with Saturn being in Aquarius in your third house and sextiling you, first of all, sextiles are positive aspects which have a very helpful, beneficial impact on us. So this can see you overcoming certain mindset blockages because Saturn rules over blockages, limitations, delays, and for some of you with this being in the third house of communication, this could be overthinking, analysis paralysis, issues in communications, just generally speaking, whether these are written or verbal. If there have been blockages or issues with siblings or relatives or friends, which the third house rules over, there could be some kind of karmic release that is taking place in February, and especially towards the end of February and even in the first week of March. So this can see you overcoming hurdles, maybe burying the hatchet, but because it's Saturn, it gets difficult towards the pointy end, I'm not going to lie, but this is a sextile, so you guys will be able to handle it. But there may be some kind of big one last test or some kind of big hurdle which crops up with respect to your mindset, and you guys kind of screwing yourselves over in your mind by overthinking things and thinking that, or maybe let's just say thinking the worst or seeing the glass half empty. The third house is also associated with business and communications pieces, writing, clients, sales, and deals. So there could be like a big sale or deal that you're trying to close out. To be fair, this could be the ending of a contract which is taking place, and this could have been a long-standing commitment, or there could be some kind of I want to say legal communications piece which you need to sign or which you need to address. And I didn't even have notes on that. That's, well, to be honest, anyway, distracting myself now. So basically there could be some kind of official correspondence which you need to deal with, sign along the dotted line with, or maybe you need to get someone else to be on board with something in a very official capacity, which involves, let's say, legal communications, or this could be to do with the government matters, or even your workplace. So lastly, on the 5th of February, there will be a full moon in Leo in your 9th house at 16 degrees. This is trining you. So, anytime we've got full moons or new moons, for you as a Sagittarius in your 5th house or in your 9th house, in Aries or in Leo, this is a positive thing, right? So this full moon in Leo in your 9th house can indicate that you are maybe graduating from let's say university or some form of higher education. Maybe you are completing some sort of mentorship program or coaching program. Even if you are the mentor or coach or teacher, you could feel like you're having a big breakthrough with one of your mentees, students, etc., underlings. And the 5th house is connected to travel, so you could be wrapping up a travel trip, or this could be a time where you are actually traveling, and this could be interstate or this could be internationally speaking. The 9th house is connected to your vision for the future, and full moons can indicate an epiphany coming through or some kind of profound realization. So I really feel like this could be a huge breakthrough moment for you. And again, this is the 5th of February, but let's just say plus or minus a couple of weeks, because that's how long that energy will be with us for. And because this full moon is going to square Uranus in Taurus, this is really going to be challenging an existing belief system, or there could be an opportunity for you to act on. It could come out of the blue. It could be quite surprising. Or this could just be like a sudden download of information, which is shocking to you, but somehow it's positive. This is really like opening up your eyes for the future, and to your personal future. Now, on the 20th of February, there will be a new moon in Pisces, and this will be at 1 degrees in your 4th house. So new moons are about a new beginning or a new chapter taking place, and where that happens is, in relation to the house that it is transiting. The 4th house is connected to your property and living circumstances, as well as family, home life, lineage, and emotional security. So for some of you, you could be buying a property, selling a property, entering into a new rental agreement. Maybe you're buying an investment property. There could be new tenants moving in. So essentially, there could be movement on the living circumstances front. On a different level, you could be moving in with someone, or someone could be moving in with you. With the new moon, this is the plan for that, even if it doesn't take place immediately. And usually, with the new moons, these things aren't coming through right at the new moon. It's like we understand the idea, we plant the seed, we have that conversation, or the correspondence comes through. But then, it takes a while to actually manifest, because it's like planting the seed, so you don't see the shoot coming through straight away. The 4th house, like I said, is connected to family. So this could be planning for your family, planning to have kids, to have another kid, planning for your future, for your family, if you already have a family. The 4th house is connected to the mother or the mother figure. So there could be a new development occurring in her life, which is significant in some way. And, the 4th house is connected to emotional security. So this could be you guys really focusing on understanding yourself at a very deep and emotional level. And maybe some of you will be taking an interest in things from your culture or your heritage, or, maybe you want to cook, let's say, a recipe that was your mother's, or that's part of your culture or heritage, or there could be some really, special moment that takes place in your home, or within your family. And also Venus will be at 29 degrees Pisces at the time of the new moon, and Venus is exalted in Pisces. And of course, 29 degrees is the anaretic degree. So I actually really do feel that this new moon will be more potent than your average new moon. And so Sagittarius, if you want to know how 2023 is going to shape up for you, you can purchase your 2023 yearly horoscope by clicking on the link in the description box below. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content on this channel, please hit the subscribe button. So Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Risings. I mean, this is such a big month for you guys, because Pluto is in Capricorn. It's at 29 degrees from the 12th of February through till the 23rd of March. As we start off the month, Pluto will be at 28 degrees. So the Capricorns who will feel this the most will be those those at 28 to 29 degrees, but especially the last decan of Capricorn, just generally speaking. So 20 to 29 degrees. But of course, those last 2 degrees, like, listen up, guys. So essentially, this is a big yay moment for you guys. I'm very excited to see the Capricorns in my life and how life changes and improves for them after Pluto moves on from from Capricorn. But, let's focus on Pluto being in the 1st house. First of all, Pluto rules over healing, transformations, sudden reversals, secrets, anything that is hidden, fears, addictions, also the occult and anything esoteric. And the 1st house rules over the physical body, our persona, our self-image, and also our path in life and what we're physically doing. Okay, so even though Pluto is a very psychological planet, this is showing up for you in your first house. So for many Capricorns, this can indicate a physical transformation of the body, a transformation when it comes to your self-image, how you see yourself, how you show up in the world. It's, the handshake, it's the smile when you meet someone, or, how you're acting or showing up in a new surrounding that you've never been in before. So it's really the physical body, and it's the essence of you. So you guys have undergone such an enormously profound transformation over the last, 15 years or something like that. So basically, you are discovering your true self. That is what Pluto in Capricorn has been about. It's addressing any area of your life where you have felt ashamed, where you have felt your power has been taken away, where your power maybe has actually been taken away. And this is the reclamation of that. This is you standing in your truth, feeling healed. This is the last part of it, right? Because it's at 29 degrees. So maybe you feel like you are on the precipice of this enormous change, and you are. Okay, whether this is physical or emotional, you could feel like you are literally like hanging on for dear life when it comes to, being in control of taking this next step through the portal to Capricorn 2.0 or 10.0. You may feel as though there are areas of your life which are completely out of control and that are falling apart, but I would challenge you to view it as your life is falling together. You guys are not going to be the same person after Pluto enters the sign of Aquarius. And don't get me wrong, it's not as though like on the day that Pluto changes signs, like this is when, like to the minute you feel this huge change. You guys have been preparing for this change. Your body has been preparing for this change. There may have been relationships that have fallen by the wayside, or physical experiences that you have gone through that have shaped you into an almost unrecognizable version of yourself. But this is going to have such an empowering effect on you, Capricorn, because you've made it through. Maybe some of you have made it through a near-death experience, a physical health crisis, a physical transformation of your body, maybe walking away from one career to enter into a new career. Maybe you have had to say goodbye to relationships, places, people, things that you thought that you couldn't live without, and yet you can. So this is going to be a very emotional month for you guys, and especially from mid-February through till even like the end of March. But this is you forming this new version of yourself. This new iteration is coming out of the chrysalis period, and you are so ready to emerge. But you're on the tail end. This is the pointy end of things where old fears may be coming up for you. You may feel like your ego is screaming at you not to do something, or not to take on this new change, or to reveal this more vulnerable, intimate part of yourself. And yet, your intuition is basically saying, you've got this, keep going, don't stop now. So, just remember, ego screams, intuition whispers. So just listen to your inner compass and keep going. Now, with Saturn being in Aquarius in your second house, and the second house ruling over finances and resources, valuables, possessions, and your self-worth, there could be some, let's say, blockages, limitations, or delays in that area where it's like you need to, you maybe need to rely on other people to help you out financially, or maybe you are grinding in the month of February to make ends meet, or maybe it's just to really secure this new stream of income, like generate a new stream of income. And P.S., if you guys have been experiencing blockages, financially speaking, literally since like the end of 2020, or you feel like your finances are capped, or you just can't break through to that next level, this is what Saturn in your second house has been teaching you. So you can overcome this. After Saturn moves into Pisces on the 7th of March, you may find that it's so much easier for you to make money, or that you experience a salary increase, or you're getting more sales, or the valuables or the possessions or the material security that you have been craving and wanting becomes more readily accessible for you. So Saturn is your ruling planet. Okay, so this is where you have been focusing your attention since the end of 2020. And the same thing can be said when it comes to your sense of deservingness, how much you deserve to have, what you should be spending on yourself, finances, budgeting, food as well. So you could have been going through like a big learning curve, and it's 2:22 on the clock right now as I'm saying that. So you may have been actually denying yourself certain luxuries with Saturn being in the second house, because you have maybe been struggling financially and you're like, well, I don't deserve to, go and get my hair done, or to have this nice meal, because, I need to work hard. But Saturn in your second house is teaching you that when you don't have such a tight grip on your finances or on your material possessions, this allows the flow. So, I would, and this is just my personal opinion, but I am a Taurus, so, I am attuned to the energy of the second house. When you indulge from time to time, spend money on yourself, self-care, nourishment, give your body what it needs, what you're really showing the universe is that you deserve these things. You're saying, hey, I deserve to enjoy the luxuries in life. I deserve to, not be battling for every penny in my account. And I understand and appreciate that, money is energy. And when I allow it to flow out, it can also flow back in, obviously within reason. So on the 5th of February, there will be a full moon in Leo in your 8th house. So this can see you, actually, if you are in a romantic relationship, this can see your partner earning more money, or there could be like a lump sum of money that comes through. You could receive an inheritance. You could receive mutual resources through another person, so gains through another person, or just like financial support from another person, maybe even emotional support from another person. And this could see you having a profound esoteric or occult experience. So maybe there is some kind of sudden realization or epiphany that comes through, maybe like via a tarot reading or through an astrology reading, or you could just experience your own download of information through pursuing these matters for yourself. You could have an important breakthrough conversation with a psychologist, or maybe even just a deep and meaningful conversation with another person, which is incredibly illuminating for you. And the 8th house is also associated with sex and intimacy. So you could have a really meaningful sexual encounter, or experience deep intimacy with another person, or you could feel like you are able to be vulnerable with another person. Now, on the 20th of February, there will be a new moon in Pisces, and this will be taking place in your 3rd house. So new moons indicate a new chapter taking place, or we're planting the seeds for something new. For some of you, you could be making a new friend. You could be starting a new communications piece, written piece, maybe starting a social media channel, maybe a YouTube channel. You could be filming a video, writing a book. You could be signing up for a new education course. You could be creating one for yourself. There could be a new skill that you want to learn. Maybe you're signing up for an apprenticeship, or like some kind of qualification, diploma, certification, etc. And the 3rd house rules over vehicles. So maybe you'll be buying a car or a boat or a motorbike. I don't know. You could be applying for a license as well in one of those areas. And the 3rd house is also connected to contracts. So you could be signing a contract with another person. And so Capricorn, if you want to know how your 2023 is going to play out for you, you can purchase your yearly horoscope by clicking on the link in the description box below. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. And now let's move on to Aquarius. So Aquarius, sun, moon, and risings. This is a big, big month for you. And I know I'm saying this for a lot of signs, but honestly, if you're a fixed sign or if you're a cardinal sign, like it's a big month for you, but especially Aquarians, because Saturn is your ruling planet. So, first of all, you will be in Aquarius season. Well, we're in Aquarius season now, and that will continue till the 20th of February. So this really is a time where, you know, the focus is on you guys. You can feel more optimistic, like people are recognizing your gifts, praising you more, receiving more compliments. Not that, you know, Aquarians are super into that. Maybe it's hard for you to receive compliments, but in some way, shape, or form, the spotlight could be on you guys. Now, with Pluto being in your 12th house, you may be overcoming some kind of fear or addiction, but this could be rearing its head, rearing its ugly head one last time. So you could be going through a little bit of an ego death, you guys. So just make sure that you have the appropriate support networks in place. It's a very hidden house. It's a very psychological house. So maybe you're just having some weird dreams in the month of February. You could have a very profound occult or esoteric experience. And, you know, this could see you feeling like you're actually connecting with maybe loved ones on the other side. Maybe you are maybe you are seeing a medium or a tarot reader and you just have some sort of life-changing reading, which really alters your perspective on reality or unreality and the invisible realm. And even if you're into this stuff for yourself anyway, you could be having like a sudden download of information. Maybe you are letting go of self-sabotaging behavior and maybe just understanding the ways in which you have been limiting yourself and how certain actions of yours may have been actually inhibiting your ability. Sorry, guys, my voice is literally, excuse me, I hate coughing on camera. I think that's the first time I've ever coughed on camera. Sorry. Anyway, so this could see you guys understanding yourself at a deep and psychological level and just having certain breakthroughs and epiphanies about the ways in which you've been selling yourself short. And on a different level, the 12th house is connected to our deeper fantasies. All kinds of fantasies, really. So this could see you tapping into a side of yourself that's maybe been more hidden or more taboo, or that you've kind of repressed and not wanted to look at. The 12th house is a very creative house as well. So this can see you receiving divine inspiration. And, you know, you could even have like a download when it comes to creating a certain musical piece. So composing a musical piece, or with the 12th house being connected to creative writing, maybe this is the idea for a book. With Saturn being in Aquarius in your first house, first of all, in February, this will be between 25 degrees and 29 degrees. So the Aquarians who will feel this the most will be those between 20 and 29 degrees, but especially 25 to 29. And this can see you feeling more fatigued around this time. So, you know, there could be some physical pressure on your body. Please take care of yourself, especially between the 27th of February and the 7th of March. I implore you to take good care of yourself, maybe lighten the load with work or with responsibilities. And some of you may just be pushing your body to the limits. Maybe there's a project that you need to complete, or a lot of work or a deadline, and it's like you have to do this, you know, there's no other way around it. And honestly, this isn't going to be an easy period of time, just because any planet at 29 degrees is at the anaretic critical degree, and this can throw up some kind of crisis. I myself am a 29 degree Taurus sun, so this is going to square me. But, you know, for you guys, this is about you coming out of the woodwork and revealing a new and improved version of yourself, which is more authentic. You may feel challenged at this time. You may have to erect stronger boundaries. You may be very tired. You may be very fatigued. Touch wood. Worst case scenario is, being under the weather. But, I don't see this as an acute health issue because Saturn is like something chronic. This could be the stiffening of joints, feeling like, you are not as flexible. Saturn rules over coldness, so just be careful of things like frostbite and chilblains. And it also rules over anything that is hard or calcified. So, just in terms of your digestion, and I'm not a healthcare practitioner, but maybe you'll want to go for things to kind of loosen you up and warm you up. So whether that's like soups or like making sure that you remain warm if you are currently in a colder climate. I'm in Australia where it's summer now, so obviously that doesn't necessarily apply here, but stiffness of muscles and joints and cramping is something to just be mindful of as we close out the end of February. And at a bigger picture level, like, props to you guys for getting through Saturn being in Aquarius. You are going to feel amazing once Saturn enters Pisces, which is on the 7th of March, because this will take the pressure off of you. There won't be as many blockages or limitations or delays. Issues within relationships can be alleviated. Maybe you're walking away from a relationship, to be fair, but for others of you, this can indicate turning things around and actually just, feeling like you're finally on the same page with other people. And again, this is all relationships, not just romantic relationships. This can see you feeling like you are no longer tethered to another person or an individual. This can be the successful completion of a contract or an obligation, or the fulfillment of a promise, which has been quite burdensome for you. So, February is just that last push where you'll just need to be more careful with your health, not burning out, not pushing yourself to the limits. And, March is going to be a completely different story for you guys. So anyway, on the 5th of February, there will be a full moon in Leo in your 7th house at 16 degrees. So this is activating that 7th house, 1st house axis, which is connected to relationships, promises, obligations, contracts, sales, clients, and deals. Full moons indicate a situation reaching its peak, some sort of climax or completion, or taking things to another level. So for some of you, you could be getting into a relationship or making it more exclusive or taking it to a new level. For others of you, this could be walking away from a connection. This could be the end of a contract. This could be closing out a sale or a deal with another person. And this could be a very enlightening conversation that you have with another person, because the 7th house is a house which is connected to communications. And now on the 20th of February, there will be a new moon in Pisces taking place in your 2nd house. And, new moons are all about new beginnings and new chapters taking place. So the 2nd house is connected to finances, resources, income, valuables, assets, as well as self-worth. And this can see you planting the seeds for generating a new stream of income, earning more money. This could be you refinancing, or maybe even taking out a loan as well. And the reason I'm saying that is because we do have Saturn being in, we do have Venus at 29 degrees in Pisces at the time of the new moon, and Venus is connected to finances and resources. And on a different level, with the new moon being in your 2nd house, this could see you procuring some kind of valuable or asset. And for others of you, this could just be redefining your priorities and your values, and maybe even wanting to educate yourself about an area of finance. And also the 2nd house is connected to food. So you may be starting a new diet or something. There could be a new change that you want to introduce with respect to food. So Aquarius, that's all I have for you for this month. If you would like to purchase your 2023 yearly horoscope, you can do so by clicking on the link in the description box below. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content on this channel, please hit the subscribe button. And now let's move on to Pisces. So lucky last Pisces, thanks for hanging around to the end. For you guys, Pluto will be in Capricorn in your 11th house, and as we start the month, it will be at 28 degrees. On the 12th of February, Pluto will get to 29 degrees, and it will be at 29 degrees till the 23rd of March. So first of all, Pluto is sextiling you. So this is a very positive aspect, which is very helpful and beneficial. The 11th house is it's considered to be a very lucky house, and it is associated with long-term goals, dreams, your friendships, your wider network, recognition, rewards, and a passive form of income as well. And it's also connected to innovation and, social media. So with Pluto here in the 11th house, this is a chapter which is wrapping up for you guys. So essentially you could be completing some kind of long-term goal or dream, or a long-term dream or plan that you had for your future may be coming to a close. Whether this is a choice that you are making or a choice that is being made for you. Simply put, Pluto is connected to death and rebirth. So you guys are actually really having to redefine how you see the next 20 years playing out. And I say 20 years because, Pluto will be in Aquarius for, 22 years. To be fair, Pluto will just be in Aquarius for 10 weeks in 2023, and it will go back into Capricorn for 9 months. Nevertheless, this can see you redefining your friendships, learning something really, really important about your wider network, your friends, who you collaborate with, who you associate with. And maybe some of you are closing out a form of passive income, or some of you may be securing a long-term form of residual income or passive income. And the 11th house is also, like I said, connected to recognition and rewards, and basically just people recognizing our worth. So this can see you feeling like, you're finally being seen for what you bring to the table. The 11th house is associated with communities of all kinds. So some of you may be walking away from a community, and this could be one that you've been involved with or involved in for a long time. Or you could be forming a new community, or your sense of identity within a community or within your social network could be shifting in a very powerful and dramatic way. And because Pluto will be at the 29th degree, which is a critical degree, there may be some sort of epiphany that comes up with respect to your friends. And, this could be quite, illuminating for you, enlightening in some ways. There could even be like a little bit of a crisis that occurs. And when I say crisis, it may be like an existential crisis where it's like, I don't know if I want to be friends with these people anymore. I don't know if I want to be part of this community. Or it could be you feeling as though you don't have that. You don't have the network that you want or the community that you want. And this could sort of push you into taking action on that. Now, with Saturn being in your 12th house and at 29 degrees. Well, to be fair, it starts off at 25 degrees as February commences. And then as we get to the end of February, it'll be at 29 degrees, and Saturn will change signs on the 7th of March when it will enter Pisces. So the 12th house is all about fears, addictions, the occult, anything esoteric, escapism, the dream realm, the other side, the unseen, angels, divine support, divine intervention, angels as well, our fantasies. And also it's connected to creative inspiration, but then we've also got self-sabotage, our shadow side, being a martyr and self-sacrificing and really tripping ourselves up. So Saturn being in the 12th house is going to see you addressing one or more of these matters, probably several of them, and maybe for some of you, all of them. So this can see you understanding how certain fears have been shaping your actions in a subconscious way. So, you could have a fear of, let's say, being alone, and this could be causing you to be quite codependent in relationships, and maybe that is therefore sabotaging relationships. Or you could have a fear of abandonment, and so you are the one who ends relationships or who doesn't allow other people to get close to you, so that you are the one who maintains control. Those are just two random examples off the top of my head, but ultimately fears that you have will be bubbling up to the surface. You will be needing to address those. You can do this the hard way or the easy way. And by that, I mean, you could ignore niggling things that you need to address deep down, and then Saturn could create some kind of crisis for you. Or you could do the inner work, meditate, journal, go see someone who you think can help you with these matters, whether that is like a psychologist, someone that you trust, maybe seeing a tarot reader or a hypnotherapist. Those are just a few ways that you could address that. Or maybe you just want to sit in quiet contemplation and really ruminate on these things and on these matters. Now, the same can be said for addictions. If there is something that you have been ignoring, you will be addressing it during February or within the first few days of March, whether you choose to or not. And this isn't to scare you guys. Saturn always wants to help you, just wants to improve you. Saturn's not here to make your life miserable. It's here to make you take accountability and responsibility for your life so that it can be more enjoyable. Okay, so with Saturn being in the 12th house at 29 degrees, there could be some kind of synchronicitous or mystical experience which takes place, which can kind of, it can be incredibly obvious, but then Saturn is like, you may be resisting that. So to be fair, if you're here watching this video, you guys are already pretty open-minded to this stuff, plus your Pisceans. But this is about really understanding that, these messages that come through are for you, and it's about not doubting those. Okay, so that may be angel numbers, feeling like you're experiencing signs from the universe, maybe messages in your dreams, in your sleep, having certain premonitions, and really just sitting with those instead of doubting them and wondering whether you're going crazy or not. Now, on the 5th of February, there will be a full moon in Leo in your 6th house, and full moons are all about the ending of a chapter taking place or some kind of situation reaching its peak. So this can see you maybe walking away from a job. You could be letting go of an employee. You could be actually paying off a debt, or maybe successfully taking on a loan. For others of you, you could be kicking some kind of health habit which you have been wanting to get rid of. You could be having a breakthrough with work or with your health. You could get to the bottom of some kind of health issue which has been maybe confusing for you, and now it's like you understand what's happening and what you need to do. And the 6th house is connected to conflicts and anything that is out of balance. So this can see you actually addressing a situation which has gone on for too long, which has been causing you some kind of distress. And it's kind of like you're addressing the elephant in the room, and it can really cut through the tension. Now, on the 20th of February, we've got a new moon in Pisces, plus Pisces season will start. So with Pisces season commencing, spotlights on you, you'll be feeling more energetic, having more vitality. Maybe other people will be noticing you. You can feel like you're shining. You'll certainly be feeling in better spirits. This can see you from a health perspective, just having more vitality, feeling better about yourself, glowing, one might say. And Pisces season will be from the 20th of February through till about the 20th or the 21st of March. And lastly, with the new moon being in Pisces in your 1st house, it's like new moon, new me, new chapter starting. So this can see you really taking control of your life, planting the seeds for the direction that you want to go in. If you have any goals with respect to your physical body or physical transformation, write that down, manifest that, and you can really start to see this take place in your life over the next 4 weeks. And that's because there's a 29.5-day lunar cycle. So it could be like new intentions or a new plan that you want to see to fruition a month from now, or maybe this is like a 6-month plan or an 18-month plan, which would entail the full moon in Pisces 6 months from then, or the following full moon. Ultimately, when we have a new moon in our first house, so a new moon in Pisces, for Pisces sun, moon, and risings, this can see you just setting new goals for yourself and feeling really good about the future and having a clear mind about what you want to see coming through into your life. And so Pisces, if you want to purchase your 2023 yearly horoscope, you can do so by clicking on the link in the description box below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content on this channel, please hit the subscribe button. Have an amazing February, and I will see you guys in March.